Have you ever wondered why the financial advice your grandparents gave you simply doesn't work anymore? They told you, work hard, save your money, put it in the bank, and you will be rich. It sounds responsible. It sounds moral. But in today's economy, it is a lie. If you follow that advice today, you are guaranteed to lose. You are working harder than ever, yet you can't afford a house, you can't afford a new car, and your grocery bill keeps going up. You aren't imagining it. The system isn't broken. It is working exactly as it was designed, but not for you. The truth is, we are living in an economic experiment that started roughly 50 years ago. Before that moment, money was wealth. Today, money is debt. The rules of the game were quietly rewritten, turning savers into losers and debtors into winners. In the next 10 minutes, we are going to look under the hood of the global economy. We will explain exactly what happened in 1971 to destroy the value of your labor, why the system requires inflation to survive, and why the only way to win in this new environment is to stop saving money and start owning assets. This is the story of how the economy really works, and why it is completely different from the one you were taught about in school. To understand the trap we are in, we have to remember what we lost. For most of human history, and certainly for the early history of the United States, money was something tangible. It was gold. Or it was a piece of paper that was a claim check for gold. This system had a very specific effect. It kept prices stable. If you look at a chart of prices in the US from 1800 to 1900, the cost of living essentially stayed flat. $1 saved in 1800 bought you roughly the same amount of goods in 1900. In fact, due to the Industrial Revolution and technology making things cheaper to produce, your money often became more valuable over time. This is called deflation. In that world, save your money was brilliant advice. You could put gold coins in a chest, bury them, and 50 years later they would buy you a house. The economy was built on production and savings. You had to produce something of value to get money. You couldn't just print it. But this system had a flaw, at least for the politicians. It limited government spending. You couldn't fight endless wars or fund massive social programs if you were restricted by the amount of gold in the vault. The government hated these handcuffs. So, in 1971 they decided to break them. August 15, 1971. This is the most important date in modern financial history. President Richard Nixon went on television and announced that the United States would temporarily suspend the convertibility of the dollar into gold. That temporary measure became permanent. In that instant, the US dollar ceased to be a claim on a physical asset. It became a fiat currency, money derived from government decree. The anchor was cut. Why does this matter to you? Because the moment the dollar was detached from gold, the government gained the superpower to print infinite amounts of money. And when you increase the supply of something, its value goes down. Before 1971, if the government wanted to spend money, they had to tax you. You felt it immediately. It was painful. After 1971, they realized they didn't need to raise taxes. They could just print the money. This is what economists call the inflation tax. It is invisible. They take the purchasing power of the dollars in your savings account without ever sending you a bill. This shifted the entire incentive structure of society. In the old economy, you were rewarded for saving. In the new economy, you are punished for saving. If inflation is 5% or 7% a year, your savings are melting like an ice cube in the sun. The system is forcing you to spend or invest. It is forcing you to speculate. This brings us to the engine of the modern economy, credit. In the old days, if you wanted to buy a tractor for your farm, you had to save up the gold to buy it. Growth was slow but stable. Today, our economy is fueled by credit expansion. Money is literally created when banks make loans. Think about that. When you go to the bank to get a mortgage for $500,000, the bank doesn't take $500,000 from someone else's account and give it to you. They type numbers into a computer. They create that money out of thin air. This credit expansion creates a temporary boom. You feel rich. You buy the house. The person selling the house gets the money and buys a car. The car dealer goes out for a steak dinner. The economy looks like it is flying. But it is an illusion fueled by future obligations. Because every dollar created as debt must eventually be paid back with interest. This creates a cycle. To pay off the old debt plus interest, the system needs more money. So the government and banks must print more money and issue more credit just to keep the game going. It is a Ponzi scheme on a global scale. If the credit stops growing, the economy crashes. If people stop borrowing, the system implodes. That is why the government is terrified of deflation. They need you to borrow. They need prices to go up. They need the GDP to look like it is growing, even if it is just inflation in disguise. This new system created two classes of people: the asset owners and the wage earners. The wage earners, the working class and the middle class, are paid in dollars. They trade their time for currency. But because the currency is being devalued by printing, they have to work harder and harder just to stay in the same place. This is why you hear people say, "My dad supported a family of 4 on one salary, but my wife and I both work and we can barely pay rent." That is the devaluation of your labor. On the other side, you have the asset owners. These are the people who understand the new rules. They don't save dollars. They borrow dollars. Rich people love debt. Why? Because in an inflationary system, debt is an asset. If you borrow $1 million to buy an apartment building, and inflation is 10%, the value of the apartment building goes up to 1.1 million. But the debt stays at 1 million. Effectively, the inflation paid off part of your debt for you. The government is the biggest debtor of all, so they have a vested interest in keeping inflation running. They are inflating away their own debt. And if you are smart, you are doing the same. This is why the wealth gap is exploding. It's not just corporate greed or politics. It is the mechanics of the money itself. The system pumps money into assets, stocks, real estate, crypto, making the rich richer while simultaneously devaluing the wages that the poor use to buy food and gas. We are constantly told the economy is strong because GDP is up. But we need to look at what GDP actually measures in this new economy. It measures spending. It implies that if we break a window and pay someone to fix it, the economy has grown. In the post-1971 world, we shifted from a production economy to a consumption economy. We outsourced our factories to China because a strong dollar allowed us to buy cheap goods. We stopped making things and started financing things. We replaced high-paying manufacturing jobs with service jobs and credit cards. You can buy a flat-screen TV for $300, which is amazing, but you can't afford a college education or a medical procedure without going into massive debt. The things that are cheap are the distractions. The things that are expensive are the necessities for a good life. This financialization of the economy makes the numbers look good on Wall Street, but it hollows out Main Street. It creates a fragile system prone to massive bubbles and crashes, like 2008. And every time it crashes, what is the solution? Print more money, lower interest rates, encourage more debt, kick the can down the road. So the game is rigged. What do? You can complain, you can protest, or you can learn the rules and play to win. Rule number 1, do not store your wealth in fiat currency. Cash is for liquidity, it is for paying bills next month. It is not for savings. If you hold cash for 10 years, you are guaranteeing a loss. Rule number 2, acquire scarce assets. You need to own things that cannot be printed. Real estate, gold, Bitcoin, profitable businesses, stocks and companies with pricing power. These assets float on top of the sea of inflation. When the government prints $1 trillion, your cash sinks but your assets rise. Rule number 3, use debt wisely. Consumer debt, credit cards for clothes and vacations, is suicide. But strategic debt, low-interest, fixed-rate debt used to buy cash-flowing assets, is the accelerator of wealth in this system. You are essentially shorting the dollar. You are borrowing money that is valuable today to pay it back with money that will be worth less tomorrow. The economy of 100 years ago is dead. It isn't coming back. We are living in a debt-based, fiat currency reality. It is a system that demands constant growth, constant inflation, and constant borrowing. It is harsh and it is unfair to those who don't understand it. But once you see the machine for what it is, you stop swimming upstream. You stop trying to save your way to wealth in a currency that is designed to lose value. The great reset of your personal finances starts with a mindset shift. Stop thinking like a saver from 1950. Start thinking like a central bank. Own the assets, manage the debt, and let inflation work for you, not against you. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into how to identify the best assets for this specific economy, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. The rules may have changed, but the opportunity is still there for those who are paying attention.